Hey guys, sorry you caught me cutting. Today we're going to make a cute St. Patrick's Day craft that you can actually make it into different kinds of crafts for different holidays, but I wanted to do a St. Patrick Day one. So right now, as you can see, I'm cutting out macrame cord. Um, we will be using macrame cord for a lot of our different crafts. So if you want to go ahead and I bought a whole roll of it, and use it. I am just kind of eyeballing right now 12 inches of macrame cord, and I'm just cutting strips right now. I have my ruler out and I'm just basically making some strips for you guys. But in this, we're going to use macrame cord, obviously scissors, hot glue gun, which I did not plug in yet, so I will plug in just a second, a wooden ring, yarn, a piece of cardstock, which you may recall we did the butterfly. I did use the postcard. We're going to use this, and we're going to use a wooden bead. That is all we're using. Now while I'm thinking about it, go ahead and get this hot glue gun typed in. I'm so excited that you guys have joined me again today and that we are going to be working on this project together. We have had so many cool projects that we've worked on together, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed them. I'm going to quickly remove myself and let this be a solo layout so you can see what I'm doing. And all I'm doing, I'm going to cut a couple more strips about a foot long. Just eyeballing it because you're going to go back and kind of cutting it up anyways. This may not be all. It all depends on how big your ring is how big you're actually going to, how long you're going to need your strips. Now, if you don't like macrame cords, you can always buy a mop head at the Dollar Tree and use it that way. Right now, I have some pieces cut, so I'm just going to hold off and see how many more I need after, because I don't want to cut a whole bunch of pieces and not use them. So, we're going to use the same technique that we used when we made our heart wreath, and you see how that's coming about. And you're just going to come out and you're going to do a loop. All you're doing is looping it. So they're going to lay flat. And you're going to fill up about half the wreath or half the ring with this looping. That's why I said I didn't want to cut too much, because I wanted to make sure that I didn't overcut one. And let's see, I think that's the wrong way. I wanted to make sure I didn't overcut, number one. Number two is I didn't want to make sure that I didn't undercut as well. So I'm just kind of just pulling it through and you're looping it. You're folding it in half, putting it under, and you're looping it so that this side is going to be up on top. This is your front side that you're working on. You're going to go about halfway up. So I think I do have enough that I've cut. You're going to go under and you're going to loop. So if you're finding that the pieces are kind of moving around on you, you can actually put a little bit of hot glue on there to keep them from not moving around. And I might have overcut on this, but that's okay. We have some for another project. And we do have some more macrame cords projects coming up. So you're just gonna come and go halfway up and loop. Continue that until you get halfway through the wooden ring. Now, if you I really don't want to buy a whole bunch of wooden rings, you can also use a shower curtain ring. And don't worry, I have a craft. If you only use one ring for this craft and you have several others left over, I have a craft that we're going to use for napkin rings. So it's okay if you go and buy shower curtains. I would suggest buying the clear shower curtain rings because they're easier to work with. You don't really have to worry about the colors showing through, and it's easier probably to cover up when they're painting. So that's almost halfway, but not quite. I think I'm going to add a little bit more pieces on both sides. Now, this would be a really cool dream catcher if you wanted to just do a dream catcher, but this is not what we're doing. I'm going to put one piece on this side. I think I am going to use all the pieces because I only have a couple more. I think I have 3 or 4 more pieces. There's another piece on this side. Don't worry that you think the strands are too long. We can always trim them, but it's better to have them too long than not long enough. So I just kind of eyeballed 12 inches and just cut. The hardest part is going to be actually working these out. So I'm going to add one here because this is really loose right here. So I'm going to go and I'm just going to add one here to kind of fill it in. And I think I have 2 pieces left over, which is okay. We can actually use them for another craft. So here we go. I have these all straight and they're all together. And if you need to, you can add, like I said, a little bit of glue if they're moving around, but they won't be moving around in a little bit. So you have this, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to come back and you're going to look at each one of these and you're just going to unravel each one. Unravel it. It's going to take a little bit of time to unravel each one. And we'll do that in just a second. But I just wanted to show you how to unravel these pieces. If you can't figure out what we're making yet, hold on. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our cardstock, which is, you can use a piece of cardboard, you can use a toilet paper roll, whatever you want. But I wanted to use this cardstock because I already have it out here. I don't have to run in the house and go see if I have a paper towel roll that somebody's used. And I'm just going to eyeball it about 1 inch down. I'm going to take my pen and just kind of eyeball it here. It's okay if you have Sharpie on it. I think it's actually going to be a little bit too big. So I'm going to go back. No, maybe not, because I do need a bigger one. You're going to go back and you're just going to draw so you have a line that you can cut. And you are going to cut that long ways. So you're going to cut it long ways. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to come here and you're going to see if it's going to fit. And it just does fit. We may have to add a piece to it. So I'm going to go back and just maybe do another inch piece and cut it, and then we'll see it from there. Well, my ruler decided to fall down. Big surprise on that one. So I'm going to go about 1 inch. Once again, mark it and cut it. Don't worry, we can use these strips later on for something else. These are really cool crafts that we can make. And you're going to cut it out. You're not going to use the whole piece, but you're going to see how big of a piece that you need. So set that other piece aside. Put it in your scrap craft. Have a basket in your craft cabinet just for scraps. Then you're going to go over here and you're going to look and see it's not quite the same size. That's okay. And you're going to just see, because you just needed just a little bit to get it. So I needed just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of hot glue right here at the end so that I have it. And I'm going to put this down and I'm going to hold it in place for a few seconds and let it adhere. So when you get ready to move or cut or do whatever you're doing, it's okay if it's not symmetrical because we're going to be covering this up. And then you're going to come over here and you're going to see how big a piece you need. So the piece is right about, I'm going to say right about here. And then you're going to come and you're going to, with your hot glue gun, just go ahead and glue this piece together. You're only going to apply your hot glue twice. Okay? So now you have this. If you can't figure out what we're doing yet, don't worry, it's coming. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to come and you're going to cut your yarn. Now, I wanted to do a green one, but I really wanted to do something that could be either a boy or a girl. And so I thought, what better way to make this than to put variegated. So you still have a green one, but also it can go with any type. You can also use it for Easter. You can use it for spring. You can leave it out for spring, so it doesn't have to be just for St. Patrick's Day. It can be for any day of the year. It could be spring, it could be summer. You can leave it out for Easter. You can leave it out for St. Patrick's Day. You can put it out once whatchamajig is over. What's the word? Valentine's Day is over. You can just pull this out of your craft cabinet. And like I said, I'm just eyeballing it and add it in. Okay, so I think that's enough right now, but we shall see. Okay, so what you're going to do with this is the cool part, guys. The same exact technique that we just did for our ring, we're going to do for this. You're just going to come and you're going to loop. And I actually did it backwards the way I looped it. So I'm just going to work it back and we're going to loop. Because you want this piece, did it backwards again, guys. You want this piece on the bottom, the piece that pops out. You want it on the bottom, like this. So you're just going to continue looping and loop through until the whole thing is covered. Okay, I paused this. I know I normally try to do this, the crafts from start to finish with you guys, but I paused it because it was going to take a long time for me to wrap the whole entire little thing right here. Now, this is done, and that's going to actually go like that. If you can't figure out what we're making yet. So what you're going to do for this particular piece right here is you're just going to make sure everything's kind of straight like this, and take an extra piece of your yarn, and you're going to come up about halfway here, and you're just going to tie it so it makes a little hat. Now, I do not have my plastic bag with me, but I do have something else that I'm going to use for this, because I'm going to actually cut off all this extra stuff. But I'm also I'm not going to cut this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to knot it up top so it's kind of a loop, so that this will be where you can hang it from. So you have your hanger. So I got to remember to keep that one separate from the rest of these. Now, hold on. Now I have my container here, and what I'm going to do is my leftovers that I'm going to cut right here, I'm just going to cut into my container. Now you can throw away your scraps if you want, but remember I told you, like, if you're doing pillows or anything like that, that these are really great for if you're doing a project and it needs stuffing, which we'll be doing a project later on. If you don't want to go out and buy fiberfill, you can use your leftover scraps of material and yarn and use that as your fill. So that's what I just did. I just cut this out right here, and I'm also going to cut the ends off right here where I looped it. And my hat does not want, I don't think it's tied tight enough, so I'm actually going to cut that loop that I made because I don't think it's tight enough, and just stick that in there and use another piece that I actually cut. Here's my extra piece. It's going in there. My extra piece of macrame as well will go in there. And once again, I'm going to come and I'm just going to pull it really tight. Once I get it done, pull it really tight like that. There we go. Now it's tight. And I'm just going to knot it again. Pull it really tight. Here we go. There you go. That works better. And then I'm just going to go up top and make a loop and knot it up top and then cut off the excess. So you have a way to hang it if you want to hang your gnome. I just told you what we're making. So this is the gnome's hat. I wanted to do a St. Patrick's Day one, but I also did not want to do one that I would only be able to use for St. Patrick's Day. So I used the all different colors, but it has green in it. Now with this one, this is going to be the hardest part, is you're tearing these apart. You're just coming and you're unwinding them. And I know there's a technique that you can use a brush or a comb, but I unfortunately do not have mine up here. So you're just going to push and you're just going to pull down and undo them. That's going to be the very last step. But the next thing you're going to do is you're going to come and you're going to put a little bit of hot glue on each side here so that you can put your hat on your gnome. And I thought I had enough, but it took me longer than what I thought it would be. And of course, I don't have my hot glue out. And I always tell you guys to please have your hot glue out when you're doing stuff. And I don't have mine out. So give me a sec, guys, and I'll get it out for you. Luckily, I don't have to walk but 5 steps over to the craft cabinet to get the hot glue. But hot glue and hot glue. And then you're going to hot glue your gnome into place. Your gnome hat into place. Now, these are kind of very long. So instead of unraveling everything all at once, what I'm going to do, I've got little glue strings right here. I'm going to go ahead and cut so that I know where they're going to be at. Trick to cutting is make sure you use sharp scissors, very sharp scissors, and I'm just going to cut them over the actual basket. These little storage containers, I could use a plastic bag, and I will probably end up putting everything in a plastic bag, but because I used all my, for my bunny that we did, if you remember, this bunny we did, and I used all my plastic fill for that, all my leftover yarn for that, I don't have a plastic bag that I can use it with now. So, you're going to unravel all of these, which you'll see in a second. And then you're going to take your wooden bead and you're just going to stick it right here because you know a gnome has to have a nose. So you're just going to stick your wooden bead right there and put it on your gnome. I think I'm going to take this piece off just a second because I think I like it better when it's sideways. That way the bead, the top of the bead is not so prominent. So I'm going to come back and add it in. You can choose to unravel, which I will unravel, and you'll see in the final picture. But there it is, guys. A gnome for Easter, for St. Patrick's Day, for spring. Quick and easy gnome that you can do. Hardest part is looping everything around. If you want to, I do have a heart sticker. I may come back and put a little white heart right there just so it can be out for Valentine's Day as well. But there you go, guys. A quick, easy gnome using a wooden ring, yarn. You can do a solid color if you want. Wooden bead and macrame cord. That's all you have. If you don't have a wooden ring, you can use a shower curtain. If you don't have macrame cord, you can go to the dollar store and buy a mop head. Here I use I forgot the cardstock and hot glue. And there you have it. A cute little gnome. Now I hope you guys really enjoy these crafts that I'm doing with you guys. I'm going to pull it up like this so you guys can see it. I'm going to actually come back later and unravel everything so you can see how the unraveling is right here. But it's just a little bit too much for me right now. And my hands are not working. But you have a little holder for it to hold up. Little gnome, and I'm going to come back and put a little white heart right here that we use from our Valentine tree. So until next time, guys, be blessed and start crafting. And please like this video, share it with people. Also, subscribe to the channel because it would be great. Thanks. Have a blessed day. Bye.